we've mentioned a few, but let's talk about the bajillion of debuts that happened over the weekend. We had Jack Perry showing up in New Japan, ripping up his contract. We had Nick Nemeth showing up here, there, and everywhere. AJ Francis here, there, and everywhere.
She
Uh,
the champion.
Ash
Oh my God.
by
That's
Elegance. What else? Who else debuted? Um, we had Mustafa Ali came back into Impact.
Or GCW.
What's the GCW?
Yeah, he wrestled GCW.
Whatever.
Yeah.
GCW. He's also like making his little world tour, as he says. What do you think
fun fact.
about?
He's gonna actually be here in New York next month.
That's
Mhm.
super dope.
Is he wrestling with Hog?
Yes. Yes.
Really? I was
Yeah.
curious if they were going to get him on this world tour, if they were going to pull
Yes.
it or not. That's
Um,
cool, man. That's a good get for those guys.
we did forget one.
Which one?
Riddle made his NJPW debut teaming with Jeff Cobb.
That's true. Wow.
Everybody showed up this weekend.
Like they were everywhere, dude. It was like just to be a fan. You know, I was getting giddy watching. Like, who's showing up tonight?
I am Team Ritter over Riddle, but I
Hell
will put over a good match when I see one. Him and Jacob Fatu beat the absolute shit out of each other the other night. It was a good, hard-hitting match. Again, Ritter over Riddle, but still not a bad wrestling match. So,
Yeah.
I did love Nick Nemeth debuting last night and hulking out of his Motley Crue t-shirt to have the TNA tank top underneath it. That was cool. Him, did you guys see the clip of the guy, the defendant in court, jumping over the judge's stand and like spearing her? He did that to David Finlay at Wrestle Kingdom. So that was cool, right? Like, I love all the debuts. I'm here for it. 2024 is going to be a hell of a year to be a wrestling fan. Guys, what do you think?
Absolutely. And it's cool because it's not just within the bigger companies, it's trickling down to the indies too. Because I don't know how everyone else felt, but the pandemic really made me question the future of independent wrestling. Like, how do we get back to where we presumably were going at one point? Because the independent scene basically became a feeder system for a lot of the wrestling companies at one point. So, with talent not being able to work because of COVID restrictions and just how depleted the rosters will be coming, especially since that's when AEW popped up. And for everybody who couldn't go to WWE or NXT, that was like a beacon of hope. So it was a real big question as to how the indies were going to recover. But boy, we are fucking back. We are back because
Wrestling in general is back. I always preach about the territories and the 25 WWEs in 1983, you know what I mean? But like looking at it right now, between GCWs, Bo and I were just putting over Deadlock Pro so big with everything they're doing, New South Pro, Continental and Jacksonville, everybody, you know, Hog, Invictus, Pro Wrestling R, all of those guys coming out of the New York territory, not touching anything in Texas. Like, it's a great time to be a
we also
wrestling
got
fan.
Ashe Wrestling, Darius Lockhart's promotion as well. That's rocking up. Hog, especially for like us in the New York area, it's been dope for a while, but like most recently, it's been crazy. So again, Mustafa Ali is gonna be here in March. They haven't announced his opponent yet, but they had a show last weekend, and the main event it was Mike Santana versus Josh Alexander.
Dude, I watched that. Holy shit.
And I went to the show in December that Swerve was at, and it was Swerve versus Speedball Mike Bailey, and the main event was Mike Santana versus Matt Cardona for the title, and Mike Santana won. So Hog has definitely been on a tear, and I feel like now more so with a lot of these people who got released from WWE and are hitting the indies now that their 90 days are up, we're just gonna see an influx of great wrestling here, specifically in the New York area, but just across the board, the indies right now it's just so fun because you never know who's gonna pop up where, And I feel like even though it's become sort of like a insider term for the most part, like I feel like the term Forbidden Door is slowly deteriorating. Like it's cool for like an AEW pay-per-view, but for the most part, it's literally non-existent. The only big door now is WWE, but they're kind of maneuvering and figuring out ways to work with smaller companies in their own way. So it's a great time to be a wrestling fan. I feel like we've been saying that for like the past 3 or 4 years now, but more recently, it just feels like with the debuts that have taken place over the last 2 months, it's great to see that the beginning of the year has kicked off the way that it's kicked off, and I can't wait to see what happens for the rest of 2024.
Yeah, it's just getting started. You still got Elias who's about to debut. You got like Matt Cardona calling out Nick for a GCW event, like out of nowhere. It's like
Cardona just had a 10 pounds of gold, like it was the 10 pounds of gold Street Fighter, whatever, death match last night on an NWA pay-per-view. Moxley is challenging Naito for the IWGP World title. Like everybody is everywhere. The Forbidden Door isn't a thing anymore, as it shouldn't be, because everybody should want wrestling to be better, including the promoters, the bookers, the fans, the workers, the managers, the valets, the goddamn concession stand workers. Like everybody should want wrestling to be better.
Mustafa Ali called someone out in New Japan too last night.
Yeah, he's going to the Windy City Riot.
Yeah, like it's like just sit back, get you your favorite adult beverage or substance, and enjoy what's on your screen. Let's get back to being just fans. I like what's on my screen.
Oh yeah, and even if you don't, you can always just find something that you enjoy, regardless of how you feel about the show overall. I say that people, they treat professional wrestling like a full course meal rather than a buffet, where they feel subjugated to ordering an entire meal, and if you don't like it, then the whole meal is a complete waste of your time and money, rather than being able to pick what you want and be able to consume that, even if it's within one company, because you cannot necessarily like WWE as a whole, but if there's a particular superstar or a particular match that you're interested in, you could just consume that match and just watch it and just go about your business. The same with every other promotion. That's why I find it very, very bizarre that tribalism is very much still a thing, because it's impossible to say that you're not going to watch a particular company just based off of the fact that you're a fan of another company, especially if your favorite wrestler or wrestlers is now in that rival company. You know, you're pretty much depriving yourself, like you're cutting your nose to spite your face if you don't want to watch another company's product, especially if it's your favorite wrestler.
Boom. That's what I like about having good guests on the show, because I don't have to really say much. Al?
AJ just sent to me during the WWE NXT live event in Dade City, Florida. There appears that Cora Jade has been injured again. She just came back. There's no specific details of what her injury is, but so hopefully it's something minor. And it looks like, let's see, breaking news, Cora Jade looks to have had a bad knee injury at the NXT house show. There was a fake knee injury spot early in the match, but the end saw Jade land funny and a pin by Lyra that looked botched. 4 people carried Jade to the back.
That's a tough rip for anybody. You never want to see somebody get injured.
No, and especially since she just came back from an injury.
Yikes.
Yeah.
I will say this. NXT is good at one thing at their house shows, because I go to multiple times a year, is furthering TV storylines.
Okay.
Or starting new storylines.
They just did it with the taping with Ilya's injury, because it was reported that it was a worked injury, so that way he could get some time off TV that was planned. You know what I mean? So maybe it is a work. Maybe it's not an injury and they're just laying into the previous one. So yeah.
Sean's very good at following the old rule of use your TV to get them to the live event. Use your live event to get them to the TV, because they'll debut people at NXT live events. We've seen it in the past. They'll change championships at live events. They make you want to go.
Oh yeah.
I love good live shows. We go to a ton of live wrestling, and it's one of my favorite things to do. It's one of the only reasons I'll go into a crowd of 10 people or more.
More than 2 people. Couple of sort of rumblings about Rumble.
Oh, that's
See
clever.
what I did there.
Did you do that yourself?
I did that.
I didn't write
myself.
that one for you. That was good. Well played.
Touche.
So some rumors for some surprise entrants are Sean Waltman, Naomi, Liv Morgan, Andrade. Not really a lot. Other than Sean Waltman, the others I kind of figured would be, seen. Maybe not. I mean, there's so much about Naomi. So, other things and talking
real quick on the Rumble thing. Do you guys think if X-Pac 6, the 1, 2, 3 kid, no matter what iteration of him he shows up, do you think he's a big enough return pop or veteran pop or Hall of Famer pop to satiate that need of the fans? Because you know how fickle wrestling fans are. Is X-Pac going to be big enough to satiate that hunger for the IWC?
I got to sit this one out because I'm a Sean Waltman mark. So.
Oh, then
yeah.
No. I will start this off with, I'm sorry. Please still be my friend later. I'll give 2 fucks if Sean Waltman shows up or not. I don't care if 6 shows up. If he doesn't walk down that aisle carrying that dog that I'm pretty sure has cheated death for like a million times, then I don't care. I want his dog I want him in a Larry match at the Royal Rumble.
Okay, Dad Hat brings up a perfect point, okay? With all the rumors of X-Pac showing up, I don't have any desire to buy a new t-shirt at the Rumble. I'm very particular about which wrestling shirts I buy because I'm kind of a hipster. Like, I won't wear a wrestling shirt for a wrestler that I know I'm going to see perform live. I will buy a t-shirt from that wrestler and support them and then wear it other places, but I'm not going to see a Stone Cold match wearing a Stone Cold shirt. You know what I mean? It's weird. I wouldn't go see a Red Hot Chili Peppers wearing a Chili Peppers t-shirt either, though. You know what I mean? It's a weird Mark thing. We're not gonna have the Chili Peppers conversation right now. If I get to the Rumble and they have the black NWO shirt with the green 6 billiards ball on the back, 100% will buy that shirt, though. I don't care. Dad Hat and I have been hyping that shirt up on World Championship Wreckage. Go follow that. Love that shirt. One of my favorite wrestling shirts of all time. So if the green 6 billiards ball is there, 100% coming home with that.
I will say, though, the only Rumble surprise entrance that will like reduce me to tears, and again, if this person never wrestles again, I'm completely okay with that, just because I want them to be okay as a human being above everything else. But Royal Rumble, we're in Florida, we're in Tampa. If Big E shows up, like,
I'll pop. I might even be moved to tears for that.
If Big E is a surprise entrance. But then again, I am more so in the space of making sure that the person is okay and fulfilled in his actual life away from the ring, because he definitely deserves that. But if he were to show up, oh man, I feel like that this may be a little bit, this may be a little bit big and maybe like hyperbole. I feel like, honestly speaking, that may be on par with Edge returning. I know it hasn't been the same amount of time, but given the fact that Big E is so beloved by everybody, you saw how every professional wrestling company reacted when he was injured. Like, AEW said something, Impact said something. Everybody was like all on one accord with how much they wanted Big E to be okay. So I feel like if he's able to come back at the Rumble in his hometown, even if he doesn't win, but if he's just back, put him as like one of the final four, and I feel like that'll send the people home happy regardless.
I don't. Yeah, 100%. I think Big E is one of those guys that if we don't see him at the Rumble, we won't see him until the Raw after Mania, because I feel like that's how big his return would be. It has to be that nobody can know it's coming, and then you have to hear his voice come over the intercom leading up for the New Day music, and everybody be like, oh shit, you know, like that pure shock from it.
Yeah,
because
that something that they keep close to the vest. I don't want a return vignette, nothing. Like, I want to tune in to like a random episode of Monday Night Raw and just hear Big E.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
All right, more Rumble things. In talking about Roman Reigns' Rumble match, Danny Meltzer said on Wrestling Observer Radio that the original plan was a singles match with Randy, but because some at WWE believed it was too early to have Reigns beat Orton because there's money to be made with Randy and Roman in a program at some point, AJ Styles and LA Knight were added so one of them can take the pin. How do y'all feel about that? Did we just discuss it?
It's going to be LA Knight that takes the pin.
Yeah.
It's good business. Like, of course you would want to put butts in seats. That's the whole plan. And you don't want your most viable contender, not named Cody Rhodes, to eat the pin right off the rip in his first big feud. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's smart.
Yeah. I will say this though, completely unrelated. I'm very pissed off that Roman Reigns hoodie isn't what I thought it was going to be. So the hoodie that he wore, not this past SmackDown, but the previous one, I thought it was so dope, and I went on shopwwe.com to buy it, but it has that big ass ugly Roman Reigns logo. You know, the one with the spike in between that looks like two R's. I'm like, I can't wear this. My mother would be ashamed of me. So because I like to be able to wear like certain wrestling things outside, like in the street, like notably, like, you know, the WCW jacket that I wore to House of Glory. Like, I like to be able to like be fashionable with like some of the wrestling stuff that I get. You know, not everything you can wear outside, but for the majority, if I can style it, like I'm trying to get stuff to show off my fandom, but be really cool at the same time. So I try to look for things that kind of suit that. And then once I see something that's really dope, and it's so easy to ruin a professional wrestling t-shirt with a little next to nothing. Like, that's why I don't own any Cody Rhodes merchandise, just because I feel like it's just something that was at the Capitol on January 6th.
Agreed. 1,000%. It screams that.
Yeah. 1,000%.
The camo shirt that they came out with tribute for the troops, I was like,
that was not a
screams
shirt.
It screams insurrection vibes. Speaking of styling wrestling shirts, one of my favorite wrestling shirts to wear that it reminds me when I look at it is the Mysterio shirt that's got the M styled like the Wu-Tang W. And the moment I saw that shirt, I was like, that's mine. Because my Wu-Tang shirt is so worn down now that I've got to get it. It's from college. That's how long I've had it. But when I got that Mysterio shirt, I was like, if you didn't know it was Mysterio off the rip, just looking, it looks like a Wu-Tang shirt. And I was like, that's dope. So that's probably I
have a Macho Man shirt with the W upside down for Macho Man, and it says cream. It's a black and yellow shirt, and it says cream from his Cream of the Crop promo.
Yes.
So that's like one of my favorite wrestling shirts.
What's up, Scals? Good to see you, bud. Al, you got anything else before we get into Ryback?
Yeah, I've got a couple of things.
Okay.
You would hand me a piece of candy like right before.
Right before you got to start talking again? Sorry.
It's usually how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
This is live TV, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay. It's a prediction, not a spoiler. But in his 2024 forecast, Sports Business Journal's John Oron, I think that's how you say his name, has Amazon securing media rights to Raw. The reporter believes Raw will remain on Monday nights as part of a strategy to give Amazon Prime more live programming and draw the young male demographic to its service. If Amazon doesn't pony up, Iran could see Disney getting Raw's rights and putting the show on FX.
Whoa.
Yeah. So that's something.
I'll tee this off real quick. And I don't mean to step ahead on the line for anything. Me and Bo talked about it on Nerdy News on Tuesday because this was my my host pick, because this news dropped on Monday. Sunday was Botch Pods and Chair Shots. Monday, the news dropped. Tuesday was Nerdy News. So it was the first chance I had to talk about it. So I didn't care. It was a comic book show. I was bringing up wrestling, by God. But I said that looking at it exactly, if Amazon loses the NFL rights that are on Prime right now and they go to another station, Amazon will have NFL money to throw to the WWE to get exclusive streaming rights. And what they could do is they could work the same TV deals similar to what USA did with SmackDown, where not only do they get those, but they also have to do like 4 network specials a year or whatever now on SmackDown. Imagine if Amazon got Raw and then negotiated 4 exclusive Amazon Prime live events like USA did for SmackDown. So think about that. Like, Prime has some leverage here, especially if they lose the NFL side of it and have that NFL money just sitting there in the bank. Like, this could be a huge move for Prime the more I've looked at it. What do you guys think?
I think so.
It doesn't affect me because I have Amazon Prime. I am one of them. I do touch grass on a weekly basis just to say I do, but I have a subscription to almost every streaming service but Apple, because that's what this world is going to.
Fair.
Well,
And Alexa's the start of the Terminator movies. I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Okay, Scout says the TV deal for the NFL with Prime is for 10 more years. I didn't know how much longer they had on the deal, but in my brain, if they lost the NFL deal, that was just more money towards in it. But still, Amazon's got more money than freaking God, so it's okay. Bezos could buy the world if he wanted to.
He's been to outer space.
He has been to outer space.
So 2 things. One, it really hurts in various ways to know that I am no longer part of the young male demographic in theory.
Yeah, that does kind of
Like, realistically, when you hear it, you're like, fuck. Like that's really not me. And 2, what is the likelihood of a Cody Rhodes Homelander tag team now if they do go to Amazon?
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Deal.
The
I'll
boys,
take it.
Homelander Cody could be a real thing if Amazon gets WWE.
Hell yeah.
That would be great.
Can you
Have you ever
imagine,
seen
like,
The Boys now? You don't know who Homelander is? I'm gonna have you watch it, just the first episode, so you can meet Homelander and experience Homelander.
I
The
want to
superhero version of
talk
Cody
about
Rhodes.
what Dad Hat said, and that think of how smart the Amazon thing is. Cody walks out wearing a new shirt. The commentator says, "Look at the new shirt. Click your Fire Stick remote to buy the shirt now." That's smart. That would
That is
actually
pretty fucking cool.
Now they'd have to do a merch deal with Amazon because they currently don't. There is merch on Amazon, but it's not like sanctioned.
licensed merch. Yeah.
So
Cody on Jack Reacher. Hell yeah.
Yeah, dude, I'll take it. I love Reacher, man. I love Reacher.
I have 2 more things before right back.
2 more things before
One's
right
really
now?
short, and then one has to be discussed. There's speculation that Caden Carter and Katana Chance could be known as the Twinkle Twins. It's fucking stupid. Going forward, after Chelsea Green and Michael Cole used that name for them on Raw this week. gross. That name is terrible. The Twinkle Twins.
The name of that tag team is Disco Ninja Sex Party and nothing else ever.
Yes.
If they're called the Twinkle Twins, you know what that is? That's a result of, oh shit, Steph, I didn't give Vince anything for Christmas, so I'm allowed to give him one idea that we can use on TV. That's what I feel like that is. That's Triple H like giving Vince the one idea that he's really dying for to be on TV.
Yes.
That's good shit.
I'm going to read 3 headlines that are about the same topic. Fightful Select says, as of several weeks ago, the Young Bucks were planned to be Sting's opponents in the final match of his career at AEW Revolution in March. Sting has a majority say in who his opponents are, and Tony Khan is trying to do whatever Sting wants. F4W Online's Daddy Meltzer said Sting wants to wrestle the Young Bucks in his retirement match at AEW Revolution because he loved doing the Forbidden Door 2022 match with them. Matt and Nick Jackson were originally scheduled for more time off, but Sting asked them and they weren't about to turn that down. The site also heard that the AEW isn't considering Ric Flair for any in-ring performing, but Rick is actively pushing for more physical spots.
Fuck yes.
What?
Fuck yes, man.
The different degrees of Ric Flair fandom, because Bo's like, fuck yes. Decent's like, oh God.
Jax literally wants Ric Flair to go out Randy the Ram style.
I mean, like, I see Ric Flair, and this is like nothing bad as like a Dale Earnhardt kind of guy.
Just doing what he loves, just
doing
going out
what
the
he
hard
loves,
way.
baby. Fucking slinging that's Mount Rushmore and walking that aisle. That's what he's doing. He's selling Space Mountain tickets, baby.
God. Scout says, yeah, I watched that race.
My mom was there.
Jeez, dude. I don't think Rick needs to wrestle. When we saw him in his last match in Nashville, we thought he died. So I can only imagine now, 2 years later. Is that what it is?
You can't convince me that he didn't during that match. I'm sorry. Like, I don't like playing with death.
It's all the white light for a minute.
But like, his heart might have stopped at least for 2 seconds on
the lights flickered. You know what I'm saying? At the very least.
We're not even gonna call it a blackout. It was a brownout, just to be optimistic. That's what that was. but it was touch and go, just for a quick second.
Dadat says Will knows I'm pissed about it being the Young Bucks. Scows says you and me both. Scows and Dadat are both big Sting fans. It should have been Darby, nobody else.
I agree.
Is that kind of it? Like, who do you guys think, if you were to, as we talk about IWC doing IWC things and fantasy booking it, now that we know it's the Young Bucks, who would you guys have picked for Sting's last little soiree?
Vampiro. Next question.
The Buried Alive match, Dad? Yeah. What year was that? Halloween Havoc 96? Was it Raven? Raven would have been a good match too.
After knowing that, like, it might be Sting's choice, I'm okay with it. Like, I'm much more of a fan of the person who's about to go out getting to pick his, like, handpick his opponents, because I had to watch my favorite wrestler in the entire world, Kurt Angle, go out by Baron fucking Corbin. Like, come on. Anyone but
at least he wasn't a pirate then?
What'd you say, Al?
At least he wasn't a pirate then.
Pirate Baron Corbin.
That's even better, actually.
Scout says Corbin is a god. I feel like that's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, back to IWC Sting. I just didn't like the narrative that apparently, like, this wasn't Sting's choice. Like, the Bucks campaigned to, like, be Sting's last match. I'm just like, for all the shit that the Bucks get, and this isn't me trying to defend them in any way, shape, or form, because when you tend to think more rational in regards to people you don't know in professional wrestling. Like that's kind of blasphemous for some reason. But I highly doubt that the Young Bucks would campaign for Sting's last match, or use their EVP stroke to be like, you know what, we're the ones that are going to be Sting's last match. So again, like Jaxpo said, like we're just happy that Sting gets to go out on his own term, because honestly, this run with him in AEW is like, that's something that's going to be remembered, because the last visual that we had in WWE was just like, yo, not like this. Like,
He counted the lights more than he saw wins.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So for him to be able to like go out and not just like coasted until his last match, but really like go out there and hang and bang with a lot of the younger talent and just look like the badass, crazy gunslinger grandpa that we wanted him to be in WWE. How can you be mad at that? The guy has given us countless memories. He's the reason I got into pro wrestling as a fan. Him and Ron Simmons exclusively are the two reasons why I'm a wrestling fan to this day. But as a fan, you want your favorites to be able to get their wishes going out. So I have nothing to complain about. It's going to be a great match, despite how people may feel about the Bucks. They're going to sell like crazy for Sting.
Dude, they're going to Shawn Michaels sell.
Yeah, they're going to make Sting look like $1 million fucking bucks. He's going to be there with Darby, who's like his son, So, again, shut the fuck up and watch wrestling, guys.
True. Just be a fan. Just be a fan.
Just go out and realize that if you're in the crowd that night, realize you're witnessing history and Sting's retirement. Like, there doesn't need to be a story. That's the story. It's his last match.
Yeah.
Let him have as much fun as he wants. I don't care if he jumps off an 80-foot ladder.
That would be awesome, though.
That would be super cool.
It would be pretty fucking cool, Sting. So if you're watching,
awesome.
Get the biggest one you can find.
Right. But I'm happy that I actually got to see Sting as a Sting fan, getting to see him at multiple AEW shows. I was there at the Grand Slam show where Muta came out. So, yeah, to be able to see somebody that you idolize be able to ride off into the sunset after having this, specific run in particular, which I'm very sentimental about just because he debuted in AEW on my birthday. So that's also super cool as well. So, yeah, Sting forever, man.
Nice.
Run my intro, Pauline.
Oh, is it time?
It is that time.
It's time.
It's time, guys. Here it comes.